welcome back. I am so glad you stopped on my video. That means a lot to me. If you are new here, thank you so much, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you are one of my followers, I am so happy you re-clicked on this video. Always means a lot when you come back over and over again. Don't forget, leave me comments down below if you guys have any questions or anything I can help with. I am here. We are all on a journey. My journey is to lose some weight, get healthy, lower my cholesterol, and move my body every day. So if you're trying to do some of those things or all of those things, please join our community on Facebook, where we do just some challenges and we share recipes and some of our favorite things like that. So today we're meal prepping, and I am going to keep it relatively simple. So what I came up with, and again, this is how I do things, is that most of the time we buy a lot of the same things over and over again. And so I look and I go, I have kale. I need to use kale. What am I going to use kale in? Things like that. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a shepherd's pie. We're going to do a quick soup. Again, super quick, and especially if you make your own broth like I do, it will come together very quickly. And then we're also going to make falafels. So I want to do some falafels to put in the freezer. And don't forget, I actually have a recipe for healthy tzatziki and make your own naan bread. So I'm going to leave those up there for you also, because those are fabulous. Those, again, are some of my favorites. And so simple to make. So the first thing we're going to do, and I've already done some of the prep work today, guys, because again, you don't need to be watching me peel potatoes. I think you have better things to do with your life and your time. So I am going to try to keep this nice and neat and trim for you, and for me, again. So we're going to start with the shepherd's pie. That one takes a little bit longer. I mean, they're all about the same. The falafels will be easy to do, but I've already peeled my potatoes, and I'm using Yukon Gold. I find those are the fluffiest and the nicest to make the mash that goes on top. Now I make this both ways. I do the Yukon Gold, and I also do it with sweet potatoes. Sometimes I do half and half. Just depends on whatever mood I'm in or what I have that needs to get used up, to be honest. So I'm going to start my potatoes, and we're just going to bring those to a boil. We're going to mash them. We're going to put a little bit of plant-based milk in there, whatever you want, almond, soy, hemp, whatever. And that's going to be our topping, nice and easy. And then our filling is going to be mushrooms and lentils. And you already know, if you follow me here, you already know I pre-do my beets and lentils. And so what I'll do is cook them in a very large batch and divide them into whatever fits in this. I know for the chickpeas, this is a little less, this bag is a little smaller, but it's usually like 2 cups in those bags. And it just makes it so much easier when you want to make something. You can just take it out and it defrosts in no time. And again, a time saver, same as meal prepping, because we want to eat healthy. We want to stay away from the oil and the fat, and we want something that's going to be satisfying. And to me, there's nothing more satisfying than shepherd's pie, honest to goodness. I mean, I grew up on it, but like the other kind, not this kind, because this is way better. So we're going to get our potatoes going. I've already done my button mushrooms, cremini mushrooms, and it doesn't matter what mushroom you use. You can use whatever you want. I just find the mushrooms give it a little bit more of a meaty taste. If you don't have mushrooms, just go with the lentils. You'll be fine. Everything is good. Okay, so we're heating up our pan, and we're just putting a little bit of water in because we're going to water saute, and then we're adding our onions and our garlic. We're just going to saute those until they're translucent. Now we're going to add in our mushrooms, and we're going to saute those until they cook down, release their juice, and brown up a little bit. That's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes. So now, once our mushrooms are lightly browned and they're cooking up nicely, we're going to add in our veggie broth, our spices, and no worries, the recipe will be down below. A little bit of soy sauce, or tamari, or coconut aminos, whatever you prefer. And actually, that is probably tamari. I just naturally say soy sauce, which is wrong. We're going to add in our lentils. Incorporate that together. Once that comes up to a gentle boil, we're going to add in a little slurry of cornstarch and water. And that's just going to thicken it up and make it like a gravy consistency, which is the way I like it. Now, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to turn off the heat. Continually stir this. This is where the cornstarch will activate when it's hot. Always mix your cornstarch with cold water so it will work properly. And then you're gonna, when you add it to the hot, that's when it thickens up. And see, now we have this delicious lentil mushroom, almost like a gravy. So our mashed potatoes are done. I've just mashed them with my plant-based milk. Super simple. Your lentil mixture on the bottom. Then I like to put corn or cream of corn. That's how I had it growing up. Your oven should be preheated. Now we're just going to put our topping on. I like to dollop it and then spread it out later. So this is great for meal prepping. It's great to make, even easy to make the day up if you just have your lentils already cooked or in the freezer like I do. Now we're going to bake that in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes till it's all bubbly and golden. And now we're going to do the falafels, which are super easy. You just need a food processor. That's the best way to do them. Honestly, it just is a couple of zings and we're done. But the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to warm our spices or bloom them. And so I will have the recipe down below and over on my website. So we're going to just put them in a dry pan and we're just going to gently warm them until you can smell them, just to toast them for about a minute, less than a minute. So we are just toasting these again for like 30 to 60 seconds till they warm through and bloom a little bit. All right, so the falafels are going to come together very quickly. We're just going to put some onions in the bottom. I've chopped up some cilantro and parsley. And again, if you don't like cilantro, it's going to change the flavor a little bit, but you'll be fine. Put a little extra parsley in. Add in your chickpeas, garlic, our toasted spices. We're going to add in some fresh lemon juice. I would say 1/2 lemon. Add in a little bit of salt, and I like to add a little bit of cayenne pepper. Not going to make them hot, guys. It's just going to give them a little extra flavor. Then we're just going to blend them. Give them a quick stir, just so everything kind of incorporates. We don't want to make a paste. In fact, this is almost perfect. You want to be able to pinch it and it hold together. Now we're going to put our mixture into a bowl. We're going to add in our baking powder. This is what's going to make our falafels light and fluffy. And then we're going to add in some chickpea flour and give that a stir. Incorporate all that chickpea flour. It's going to act as a binder. And then we're going to chill this in the fridge for about an hour before we make our falafel balls. We want everything to melt together, all those flavors. And we want it to kind of rest. So we're just gonna put some plastic wrap on that, stick it in the fridge for about an hour, and then we can make our falafel balls. In the meantime, we're gonna truck on and make our soup. Okay, so our falafel mix has rested for an hour. I'm just using a scoop. You can use whatever you want just to make balls. And what I do is I put them just on a tray with a silk pad or parchment paper, and then I freeze them, and then individually. Then I put them in, just once they're frozen, I put them in a different container and keep them in the freezer. And then whenever I want falafels, I just pull them out, stick them in my air fryer. You could bake them in the oven. I honestly had done them both ways, and I think the air fryer is way better, but that's just my opinion. You can leave me a message or a comment down below if you prefer your air fryer or baking them in the oven. And again, this recipe, obviously make my tzatziki sauce to go with it, super easy. And my naan bread recipe, again, also super easy. And the naan bread can be frozen, or you could do little patties if you prefer, depending on what you're using them for. Again, they're your falafels. You make them any way you want. Then I'm just gonna put these in the freezer and let them freeze solid, just like this, before I put them in like a stasher bag or whatever, and to keep them in the freezer till when I want them. All right, the last thing on our agenda is just to make a quick soup. Again, using my own homemade broth that I make out of just my scraps that I keep in the freezer. So when I'm doing any of my vegetables, I just throw all of the extra scraps and stuff in the freezer. You guys have been here before, blah, 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 and just make up soup stock from that. And it's great. You can make a big patch, and then I freeze them in these containers so that I have, usually a full one is like one good soup. And then I'm also adding to it. All right, now for the last recipe, that's pretty well, you're just gonna set it and kind of forget it till it finishes cooking, is our soup. And I like to just use up what I have in the fridge. Got to be budget friendly. That's what soup's all about. You just want to make sure you have some key nutrients in it at all times. So I am going to add some kale to this one. I've got zucchini, I've got potatoes, and I have a soup mix, which is like a bunch of just different beans and stuff, which is great. And then obviously just your aromatics with some garlic, some onion, whatever. I'm going to do some celery. I'm going to do a little bit of carrot, and I'm going to put in a tin of tomatoes. So it'll be like a minestrone soup. You could add pasta if you want. I think this is just going to be fine. Again, it's just going to be me this week, so I'm trying not to make huge batches of everything, because as much as I do like eating the same things over and over again, it's hard when you're by yourself. Anyway, all right, so let's get some of our components ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my onions and my celery and carrots. Those are gonna what takes the longest to cook. And again, add as much or as little as you want. Some celery. I'm gonna cut it on the bottom and leave these ones in half. Cut this part off. Okay. Yes, I always talk to myself while I cook. I did a lot of the prep earlier for the shepherd's pie, and I just obviously had my music on and just was enjoying it. That's kind of how I like to do it. And then we're going to use a few of our carrots. And again, towards the end of the week, if I haven't used certain things that I've prepared for snacking or whatever else, I always love to make a huge vegetable soup. And with the beans that we're going to be adding, it should be perfect. So we're just going to head over to the stove and we're just going to start cooking this. So in our pot, we've added a little bit of water because we're going to water saute. You could use actually some of your broth. I only put a little bit in for now. And we're just going to saute those. We're going to add in some chopped garlic. Now we're going to add in our zucchini. Just keep cooking, let it brown a little bit. I'm going to add in some pepper. I'm going to add in my stock. Now you could use some more chicken stock. I just decided to make it like more vegetable stock. I decided to make it a chicken stock. And then we're just going to add in the rest. So we're going to add in our beans. And we're going to add in one potato. We're going to add in, I had broccoli in my fridge. That was just a small piece, so I'm going to add that to my soup because this is a great soup to add anything to. And then finally, my diced tomatoes. You could use tomato sauce, tomato paste. You could leave it out. Again, it's going to be your soup. And then we're going to bring that up to a boil. And then, let's add some spices. First, we're going to do a couple of bay leaves and a little bit of thyme. I think that's how I'm going to do. But you could switch it up. You could do Mediterranean flavors, use oregano, use basil, whatever you want. So we're going to bring that up to a gentle boil. We're going to cover it and let it simmer until everything is cooked and tender. So my friends, we come to the end of another easy meal prep that's healthy and delicious, oil-free. We've made our soup, we've made our falafels, and we've made our shepherd's pie. I think we are in fabulous shape, and the naan bread comes together super simple. Check out that recipe. I tell you, you'll never go back to store-bought. And it's great to throw in the freezer. I section mine off, wrap them up, throw them in the freezer. So when I just want one, I just pull it out, let it sit in the fridge, and then roll it out and fry it up without oil. Until next time, guys, I hope you guys are healthy and happy and taking good care of yourself.